Maybe one day, but right now.
Okay, just getting the live stream ready. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. Sorry about that.
Maybe one day, but right now.
Okay, let's see here. So today is Tuesday, April 26th, and if you're watching this recording, you're watching Tuesday Talks with Church Communicators. My name is Christina Dillabo. I'm the Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. And today we're going to talk about a few things. It's kind of a touch on some of the stuff we talked about last week, plus about the Book of Discipline, where to get it, and kind of an answering questions time about annual conference. Really, I want to focus on the pre-conference briefing that's coming up. And for those of you that are new to annual conference, what happens at annual conference? What is it all about? What can you expect from the conference communications at annual conference? So let's start with the first one. The first item was about the how-to guide, the planning calendar that's available from Resource UMC. Last week, I sent you guys a link to the PDF that's available to download, and it shows you, like, here's what you can do the first week of the month. Actually, let me share my screen. Let's see where I've got it available. Here it is. Okay, so if you're, I wanted to spend a little time on this because it's more than just looking at what you should be focusing on this month, you meaning the church, you know, what the Resource UMC says, okay, the special Sunday for this month is, in this case, maybe it's Encore Sunday. So here's what they're doing, is providing some ideas of what to do to prepare your congregation and your community for that special Sunday when you do celebrate, and that you have the pew cards and you have a special offering to give towards Encore Sunday in this example. So it's just raising awareness, but so you'll see in the first week, well, this isn't the first week, but on this February 24th week, it says post several times on social media, send one more email to your congregation, include a donation link if they won't be able to attend a service. So for those communicators that are brand new to the United Methodist Church world, this is a really great step-by-step help to make sure that as a communicator, you're doing the things that you could be doing to help support that special Sunday. So the following week, it's saying download the Encore Sunday bulletin inserts and include them in your worship service or include them in your bulletins. So it's really just kind of breaking it down step by step, some things that you could do. You don't have to do any of these things. It could be something that your worship team takes care of, but more than likely as the communicator, you might need to put something in the newsletter, you might need to add something to the bulletin. So it's nice that this kind of tells you, kind of reminds you, oh, you might want to do this week. So that's some of it. And you know, so if you're reading through it, you'll see some things are underlined. So we've got links embedded in this document. So that's the other really nice thing about it, is you don't have to search for the stuff that it's talking about. It's already linked in the document. So even right here where it says download your NAMS Sunday resources today, if you click on that, you get right to the Native American Ministries Pastor and Leader Kit, where you'll find all that stuff that it's talking about. So you can click to find more resources, but here's the different communications it's talking about to email out, options for bulletin covers. Let's see here. Children's resources, there's a week in the calendar where it says send the children's resources to the children's leader, some social media stuff that you could use. So it's really nice the way they've worked it all out. This is really only for the special Sundays though. They don't do this for everything like Pentecost or Mother's Day. You don't get all this stuff for that, but sometimes there's other things available, and I'll try to include those in the Tuesday talks as stuff, holidays, important events are coming up. I'll try to include resources that you can use in the Tuesday Talks emails. Okay, questions about that? Okay, so that's what the planning calendar has in it. And I wanted to share with you guys about, well, two things that are, I think I already linked to these, but I wanted to make, I'll include in the follow-up email the link to the Native American Ministries Sunday resources that are that pastor and leader kit. And because that starts in May 1st is Native American Ministries Sunday, but you don't have to do it on that particular Sunday. Your church could do it any other Sunday. That's just the official date. And then the next special Sunday is in June. It's June 12th, 2022 is the official date for the Peace with Justice Sunday. So I'll send you the leader kit to that too. But again, this stuff is linked in that planning calendar. Then I had an email from someone about resources for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I couldn't find, I saw it this morning, so I was scrambling to try to find the resources this morning. I found an article from 2018 that has content that you can use. And I'm not really, I'll send that to you guys, but I'm going to keep looking to see what's available for 2022. Because according to the email, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month is supposed to be in May. So I'm kind of like, my mind's a little confused, like why wasn't how did I not have that on my radar? Why am I not getting information about that? Why is it so hard to find stuff? So I'm wondering if maybe that's just from, it sounds like, I don't know, it feels like it just passed in March, but I've got the worst memory, but I will sort it all out and I'll get you guys what you need in the follow-up email. Okay, so the next item was about the Book of Discipline. So especially with General Conference being moved around all the time, it might give people some time, or it is giving people time to do some more research and learn more about what exactly is happening. Why is this okay? And what other options are there? You might want to review the 2016 Book of Discipline, which is the most recent version that's been published. The Book of Discipline gets published again every 4 years after we have a general conference. So it's been more than 4 years since 2016, but we haven't had a general conference. It keeps getting postponed. So that's why the most recent version is the 2016 Book of Discipline. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I will include the link to this page in the Tuesday Talks follow-up. So this is a umc.org webpage, and you can see on this page they have links to online versions of it. So that's kind of a nice little treat there, and where you can purchase the hardcover copy of it, which are typically available from Cokesbury. It might be Publishing. You might find it on Amazon. But it's nice that on this page you've got links to all that stuff. So I'm going to send this to you guys so you've got it handy. Questions about this? Okay. Next item is, are you ready for annual conference? Are your members ready for annual conference? And by that I mean, sure, your church membership, some people like to watch annual conference, some people like to go and attend annual conference, but there's a certain set of people that are supposed to go. So that would be all clergy in the Desert Southwest Conference and the lay members that were assigned to annual conference. This is not your church's lay leader. It's probably a different person or persons, depending on the size of your church. You may have more than one person that's assigned as your lay member to annual conference or your delegate to annual conference. that's going to represent your church at annual conference. So annual conference, what happens is there's a lot of stuff that happens. Actually, we have ordination that happens during annual conference, and this happens every year in the summer in June. We have ordinations, we do a memorial service. There's sometimes a special worship service that is led maybe by the bishop or other clergy in the annual conference. So worship is a big part of annual conference, but it's also a time to set the appointments for the following year. It's the official time to set the appointments. You'll see appointment announcements happening, but they don't actually take effect until July 1st. And during annual conference, all of those appointments are approved. I mean, I guess technically they could not be approved, but I haven't seen that happen. But so that's when the appointments are set. What else happens? We review legislation that comes up. So if you're new to the United Methodist Church, maybe you don't know that the United Methodist Church is very socially minded. It's very justice oriented. It's not just about worship. It's the whole Jesus thing, caring for the least of these. And the way we decide some of that stuff of what we're going to dive into and how we're going to go about it is maybe an individual or a group might write a piece of legislation that says, you know, maybe argues the point of here's what's happening, the injustice maybe that's happening. And so because the Book of Discipline says this, and so as United Methodists, we believe in da-da-da, therefore we resolve that the churches of the Desert Southwest Conference should XYZ. One thing, an example of this would be, there is student ministry, there's a special Sunday that's United Methodist Student Ministry Sunday, and I might not have gotten the title perfectly correct. So that's a denomination-wide special Sunday that we, you know, do an offering for that. Well, we also have a special Sunday for Desert Southwest Conference campus ministries. So it could be confused, like, well, don't we already have a special Sunday for student ministries? We do, but thanks to a resolution that was passed, I think it was in 2018, the Desert Southwest Conference also has a special Sunday, which I believe is in February, for Desert Southwest Conference specific campus ministries. So you can have a special offering to help support campus ministries in the Desert Southwest Conference. So that's just one minor example, but there's tons of other, there's things about having, doing work towards anti-gun violence. That was a resolution that was brought up at one of our annual conferences. So there's a lot of things that are brought up about what our churches should do in response to worldwide things, United States things, Desert Southwest Conference specific things. So it's a really important time for our leadership to get together and vote on this stuff. They question what's the budget ramifications. Sometimes, you know, there's just tons of really interesting things that happen. So it's no wonder that sometimes people want to just attend. They want to be fully aware and in the know of what's going on with our church. So they attend annual conference, they watch the live stream. So as communicators, what you need to know is if somebody comes to the church and says, I'm supposed to be at annual conference, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Well, number one, you have to identify, are you our lay member to annual conference? Are you our, you know, the clergy? Then there's one thing for clergy to do. There's something different for lay members to annual conference to do, and something totally different for observers to do. And some stuff overlaps. So all of those things, the registration forms for all those avenues are available at dscumc.org/AC. That's short for annual conference. You'll find all the registration forms there. If you are contacted about, I tried to register and it didn't work, or it was confusing, some of the options on the registration form are to identify as a lay member, well, what type of lay member am I? Am I a district elected lay member? Am I a conference elected lay member? Am I from a church? Am I a committee chair? There's all sorts of different types of designations for the type of lay person you are to attend annual conference. So as an observer, a person might choose to register as a lay member to annual conference, not realizing that that's not the right registration form. So they're seeing all these options and they don't see themselves, observer, on that list. So that's one way to know, oh, well, if you don't see yours in that designation, let's talk more about if you're just an observer or are you an official representative that needs to be at annual conference. So you don't necessarily have to do all that work. What you can do is just send them to Lori Davalos and send an email, give them her email address. It's ldavalos@dscumc.org. And she's our annual conference registrar. So she takes all of the registration questions and helps them out to make sure they get registered in the right portal. Some of the other questions that she might get are things about mileage reimbursement or what else? Yeah, I can't think of another example, sorry, but so she's the registrar and she's the person that would be able to divvy out the right forms. Why don't we post all these forms on the annual conference webpage? It's because just like registration, it's so easy to misunderstand who can get reimbursed and who doesn't from the conference. In some cases, people get reimbursed from their church. And in some cases, they get reimbursed from the conference. And in some cases, they're not eligible for reimbursement. All of that, if you don't know the answer, send them to Lori Davalos and she will be able to resolve that and send them to the right form or person to work that out. Questions so far? Okay. Let's see if there's any questions about facilities, about maybe somebody wants to have a booth at annual conference. Those types of questions go to Dina Reed. Some of you might remember Cynthia Satchel. She was our facilities coordinator in the past. Well, she retired and Dina Reed took over her job and that responsibility of coordinating all the facilities things for annual conference. So she would be the person to contact. Her email address is dreed@dscumc.org. Okay. So what else is going to happen? I'm really excited to share with you guys that at this year's annual conference, we are planning. Oh, go ahead, Sherry.
Hi, sorry, would you unshare your screen? We're still looking at the discipline. Thanks.
I'm so glad you said that. Didn't realize it. Sorry about that. So what I'm really excited to share that at this particular annual conference, we're going to have a table near the registration booth. We meaning the Commission on Communication. It's going to have a table near the registration booth at annual conference at the Mesa Convention Center. And it's going to have a couple of computers. One is going to have our new website available for people to check out, to test it. We're really wanting people to come by that table and check it out. It's not going to be officially launched during annual conference. We're scheduling to launch the new website design in July. So we're hoping that, lay members annual conference, clergy, observers, whoever will come by the booth, check out the website, share their feedback about how easy it was to use it. Did they find what they were looking for? Any recommendations they have, maybe if the font's too small, if the colors are hard to read through, I don't know, whatever it may be, anything that they want to share so that we can improve the site in time for the official launch. The other part that we'll have is some sign-up sheets or forms that will be for people that maybe want to improve their communications, learn something new about communication. So we'll have a form that will have different training options available, these are not trainings that we necessarily have scheduled already. What this form is going to do is help guide us and inform us on what are the trainings that we need to have available for 2022 and 2023. So that's what we're looking for is your feedback. We don't want to have trainings on social media if everybody's already trained out on social media. We don't want to have trainings on Google Analytics if that's way above the scope of what anybody feels like they should learn about. So we want to have it really focused on the actual needs. What do you guys want to learn about, and what are you desperate to learn about? We want to make sure you have the resources that you need to do your work. What else? We'll also have kind of interest forms available for those of you that may be thinking about joining the Commission on Communication. What am I missing, Sherry? Is that saying it all?
I don't think you're missing anything. It's just a good opportunity for us to be able to connect with everyone going to the conference and be able to talk about the things that we've worked on this year, but also for the case of looking forward, really getting one-on-one feedback. It's really important to do that. And where people are there at the conference, I think it's extremely valuable to have that dialogue with somebody that may stop by and talk with us about, maybe things that they have struggled with or things that they want. So it's really helpful for us as the commission. And we really want to be a resource for everyone within the conference. So I really want to encourage everyone, people that you all know too, that are going to the conference. It's a terrific time to do that at breaks or whenever they can come by and do that. So yeah, Jim.
Were you going to present at annual conference for the commission?
Say that again, please.
Were you going to present at conference for the Communications Commission?
Not that I know of.
Surprise.
Yeah, not that I know of. I have submitted that resolution. I am going to set up a meeting with us too. I've submitted the resolution to change.
Rule change, Sherry.
What?
It's a rule change, not a resolution.
I'm sorry, rule change. My bad. A rule change then to change what we have within the journal, explaining who we are as the commission. So I honestly don't know, what I'm going to be asked from that aspect, but again, such an opportunity. I really hope the other thing I want to do too is I'll be sending out, I really want to get together with our team too. If everybody's going to be there, it's a great time for us to be able to get together. So that's a sidebar. So Christina, I think you did a great job in talking about that, but I think, the more that we can promote people that are going to be at the conference coming by and talking with us, the better we'll all be from that.
Okay, thanks. So your members, observers, whoever may have some questions about annual conference, especially if they're voting members. They may want to know, what am I supposed to bring with me? Or want to know more about their options for attending. What if I want to go in person and then I get sick? How would I join online? Is there an online option? Things like that. As a communicator, it's super important for you to be sharing with your lay members and alternate lay members to annual conference about the upcoming pre-conference briefing. To get registered for that, it's online only via Zoom, and that is on May 14th. It's from 9 a.m. to noon. The first hour and a half is the pre-conference briefing. The second hour and a half is breaking out into district meetings. So by attending the pre-conference briefing, people will get a much better understanding about what to expect at annual conference, what they should bring with them, how they can participate online. They'll be able to test to see if they can manage voting using, let's say, a cell phone, an iPad, maybe the same laptop that they're going to be watching or bringing their laptop with, whatever device that they're going to use or devices that they will be using for annual conference. The pre-conference briefing is the time for them to whip them out and practice voting. For some people, it's a very simple process, no big deal. I'll use my laptop to watch it and switch to a different browser or a different tab to do the voting and I'll just come right back, no big deal. Other people, it's, I don't know if it's the way that it's explained or the pressure of like, wait, I'm under timed restrictions here. I got to quick, and you panic and you don't get to the spot quick enough. It's a really great practice run through for voting. And there have been some instances where the device that they were planning on using turns out wasn't going to work for them. So thankfully, they attended one of these practice sessions to find out, oh, okay, I'll tell you, one of the major culprits is a Kindle, because they can access their books on their Kindle. They feel like, oh yeah, I can use that for voting. And turns out the Kindle connects to the internet to download books, but you can't open a browser on their Kindle. So that's not going to work. It has to be a device where you can open up an internet browser and visit YouTube or Best Buy or whatever. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Does the type of browser matter?
I don't think so anymore. It was an issue when we had an annual conference app. The type of browser mattered a lot. But I think that it doesn't matter anymore because essentially, yeah, I mean, I don't think that it matters. I don't know for a fact, but that's something that we'll be able to test during the pre-conference briefing. Go ahead, Sherry.
I think that's a great question, Chris. The other piece to that too is I want to know that we're going to have really great Wi-Fi. I mean, we can be sitting here and doing the pre-conference, practice, but if we get to the facility, is there going to be something that gets handed out as an information piece, communication that says this is how you're in best way to be able to connect. And at that point would be a great time to be able to say that these are the best browsers. These are the browsers that won't work if there's some sort of handout at that point in time. Just a thought.
Yeah, thank you. So for those persons that attend in person, once we're there, that's when the hotel usually gives us whatever the Wi-Fi password is, or instructions for how to connect. So we'll have that for people that are attending in person, and but that's another good idea. Go ahead, Carla.
So I can't remember in the past, but is there going to be on Thursday night a chance where people could actually go into the convention center and try everything out to get everything set up before Saturday, so you're not running around messing with trying to get everybody set up on Friday morning? Will there be something on Thursday night to practice? Possibly. Just a thought.
That's a great idea. I don't know that we'll have everything set up by then, but I'll ask, and if we can do that, we'll announce that at the pre-conference briefing. Thank you, Carla. Okay, so I think that's everything I have to share with you all. I hope that you have what you need for making sure that your members to annual conference are prepared or know how to prepare for annual conference. The pre-conference briefing, that's the most important thing right now, that they need to register for the pre-conference briefing. I will include the registration link in my follow-up email, and for them to use whatever devices that they plan on using at annual conference, especially if they're going to attend online. They know that already. They should have 2 devices handy so that if they can't manage it with the one, whatever it is that they're going to use, their iPad or whatever, they're ready to go to vote on their phone maybe and continue watching on their iPad. So it's a strong recommendation. I'll try to have something written up for you guys that you can edit so that it fits for your context. Also, if you're watching this is such a strange thing to say, but if you're watching this and you're from an area that has a limited internet connection, sorry, that's another thing that you need to work out, is where will your lay members to annual conference, if they're going to participate online, where will they be able to gather to have internet access and do that? So that's something that will need to be worked out in time for the pre-conference briefing so they can test it. I'm really sorry. So let's just wrap this up. Thank you everyone for joining me for Tuesday Talks. I will be sending you the follow-up email very soon.